we failed. It was our first attempt.
Welcome to Focus Focus. Voices leading change.
Today I'm talking to you about making sure that you have a runner in the race. It was just recently announced by Microsoft that they have actually built the foundation of their first quantum computer. Now that doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, and if you don't know what it means, I suggest you plug into your YouTube and you go and look up quantum computing and Microsoft, because Satya Nadella announced that quantum computing is here, that they have built a microchip that can take 1 million qubits, which allows the computation powers of 1 to the power of 20 zeros, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. I know that the era that we are in today is going to be the golden age, or as they are now coining it, the quantum age. I remember as a child, my mum used to sit down with me and watch this show called Quantum Leap, and it was about this guy who would get taken out of his body and he'd be put in someone else's body, but it was his job to go and solve what was going on in the future. And I think back to that time, which was in the 90s, when people started talking about quantum mechanics and things like that, that it just seemed like something of sci-fi and something that was so far away from us that we'd never see it in a real and true time and a lifestyle that allows us as humans to actually take the value out of what quantum computing will absolutely do. What's exciting to me is this. I've been lucky enough to work in a system, an education system that is a worldwide leader. New Zealand educators are revered around the world, as well as Australian. We are revered around the world in terms of our ability to think on our feet, to really build outcomes for children that matter, and to come in and bring value to communities no matter where we are in the world. That has been one of my privileges of working in education, and one that I hold on to quite dearly. In fact, to the point where I was talking to one of our young team members who is moving overseas with her husband and telling her, because you're a teacher, because you've got your experience of working in early childhood and primary, you will get a job easily anywhere in the world. But what's exciting about this is that technology is coming in the age of the quantum age, it is going to improve our ability to absolutely create environments that allow our people to thrive. We are very driven here on making sure that we have a runner in the race. Now, what do I mean by that? In order to win awards, you cannot win awards without having a runner in the race. That's the best way to look at it. If we cannot come in and execute on certain things, that won't allow us to compete in the race. So we have to go in and actually know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, how we improve them, what coach do we go to see that allows us to improve them, and how do we stay out in front of our self-awareness journey so that we continue to work on what we deliver as an athlete or whatever it is that's in the race. That's important. The technology realm that's coming through is key. It is a pivotal part of what is coming in technology. In 2014, I had my first attempt, and Courtney and I had our first go at building a technology piece for education. We called it Supple Minds. I actually spent quite a lot of money trying to figure out how we could build something, because social media was really taking off. It was built on the factors that we had so much research that said if we can involve whānau in all the decisions around education, when it comes to children and their progress, the likelihood or probability of them succeeding goes up, and dramatically. That was important to me, and when I was working out in south of Auckland, one of the critical factors that was not well understood by a lot of people in education was that ultimately, a lot of whānau are working 2 or 3 jobs, so their ability to actually be involved in their children's education is far lower. We built this tech piece in the hope that we could create an ecosystem that allowed whānau to plug in at their time, in their own time, in their own space, that would allow us to plug in the teachers and the necessary educators and community members into that space of education and allow children to have their whole ecosystem interact in their education journey. That was a real critical part to what we were trying to build with Supple Minds. I also wanted them to have the ability to record if there's something of interest that they come past. Say, for example, I'm sitting down watching TV and there's something that says, oh, hey, there's a story on the Great Wall of China and actually this is really fascinating, this is how they built it and this is how many people did it, that they could log it into an area that would then pique interest out into the people that are in their ecosystem, like teachers, like community leaders, like educational leaders, and allow us to continue the journey of education, because actually learning is not just confined to a classroom, and that's what I believed and still believe at this time, but we should have an ability to take that interest, to take that peak of interest and actually act on it. That was what I was trying to build something off by plugging everyone back into that space. We failed. It was our first attempt at having a runner in the race, to having an entrant in the race of technology and education. It was a hard fail. I took it quite hard. My resilience at that time was not great when it came to no's, and when I was going around talking to some small businesses about trying to fund it, they were terrified of tech and they were focused on, it's just a big pit of money, and actually in that sense, we don't actually really understand your concept. I think the other factor of it too, when having a runner in the race, is that you have to understand that you've got to bring people with you. And at that point, the tech space that I was talking to did not bring people with me. People were scared of it. It removed certain parts of it. In fact, it almost removed some certainty of their role, because people in that time were still thinking, is technology going to take my job, let alone what they're thinking in 2025 about AI and things like that. That was a real learning curve for me too. However, I still knew that we had actually put someone who didn't quite get to the start line of the race, but certainly was entered in the entry form when it came back round to technology. We had another go at something slightly smaller in 2021. Again, conceptually, very hard for people to understand. It's not quite an entry in the race. In fact, I don't even know if we paid the entry fee. I just think we were one of those people that could have been an All Black or could have been a Warriors player in that sense of the technology build that we've got. But we have arrived at things now today that we know is actually a legitimate runner, and is also a legitimate finalist, and potentially is a legitimate winner. That's a really cool part to be in. Knowing what's coming in front of us in terms of quantum computing and AI and the continual societal problems that are elevating in a way that people are still asking questions like, what do we do? How can we solve that? How do we improve that? What resources do we need? What role do these agencies have in it? Schools, health boards, all that sort of thing. We're just so focused on making sure that we have a runner in the race that considers all of that stuff. And that's an actual really important piece to understand. If you are a business owner and you are not considering what is coming in the future in the quantum age, I actually implore you to go and watch the clip with Microsoft announcing their quantum computing strides. There is a podcast with Satya Nadella who actually talks through a lot of this, and actually he doesn't talk in massive lingo. He actually talks really, really fluidly about what this will mean for the future, and understanding that no one big tech company is just going to own this. It's going to be highly competitive. Everyone is focusing on trying to build out their own quantum computers and ultimately deliver value to the world. In the other realm, if you are a business owner, I want you to also consider the role of AI and what is coming in that space, and how you can improve your business opportunities by having AI. And in that sense, the business opportunity comes back down to delivering far more value for a customer at a lower cost. And that's the real exciting part about what AI and quantum computing will allow you to do. The last thing is, in that sense, make sure you're analysing your own business and what's going on in this space, because if you are not, then it means you're not staying out ahead and thinking about, how do I get a runner in the race? That's the key part to start to always continually consider when you are in business. How do I stay ahead? how do I keep a runner in the race? And often making sure that you are often looking at the ability or opportunities for you to enter into the race. Go back and look at the stories of Kodak, Blockbuster, another great example where they did not keep runners in the race, and ultimately they were pushed off the world stage forever. And that's an important piece to understand. So we're in the quantum age. That's important to analyze and important for you to understand. We are landing at a new era of AI. I just watched the Michael Jackson dance on LinkedIn with this thing coming out, and it's just probably the best thing I've seen today. But I think if you're not looking at what those factors are going to contribute to you as a business owner, to you as an individual, and your ability to actually execute on creating greater environments for your people to thrive and more value for your customer, then you are really on a slippery slope. Go in, have a look, put it into YouTube, learn, grow, and then hopefully build your own runner in the race. Up the wires.